Hey guys, I'm Kaylin. Welcome back to Fable Hill Farm. This video is going to be like a 2023 recap video of all the things that went well and didn't go so well in our lives as far as the homestead, farm, all of that, the family is concerned. And I'm also going to talk briefly, albeit in this video, on the reason why I took such a long break from YouTube. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm here in my milk room and things are kind of chaotic right now because we're in the process of finishing our ceiling. We just had the insulation, the last bit of it put up, and now my husband and my father-in-law just need to add the rest of the plywood to the ceiling, and then, the ceiling will be able to be painted and all that jazz. We just had our heater put in, all those things. So it is chaos in here, but I needed a quiet space. I just put Max and Gus, our barn kittens, who are currently living in the milk room as they acclimate to the new environment and they get a little bit older, can hack it against the older barn cats. They're living in here and they're crazy because they're, young cats. So I put them out in a crate. They get to go out there and just kind of see the farm and, watch and interact with the other animals while still being safe in a cage. So I put them out there just so I could do this video. So there will be no crazy kittens running around. I have a list here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I've also got my coffee, which it's like 5 p.m. It's a few days after Christmas, December 28th. And I do not, as a general rule, drink coffee after like 9 a.m. But I just have been dragging this week. The holidays were very emotionally and physically exhausting, and my husband's out hunting. My daughter is with grandma, and I thought I would go ahead and make myself a cup of coffee. I even added like vanilla and coconut sugar, which normally I just drink like milk and coffee or cream and coffee if I don't have milk right now, which we don't have anybody in milk. So that's what I've got going on. I'm just going to run through things and then insert clips as I go for what I have to kind of show you, different things that went on in 2023 for us here at Fable Hill Farm. But I just want to get something out of the way in the beginning of this video, which is the reason why I took such an extended break from YouTube. It's pretty heavy, so if that's not your thing, if you don't want to know what's been going on in my life, or you are very sensitive to emotional topics, maybe don't watch this video. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it in any more detail than is necessary because I just don't have it in me to overshare that, and that's not why you guys watch my videos. You watch to learn about goats and ducks and holistic livestock management, things like that. So I promise I will be brief on this. In February of this year, my husband and I found out that we were expecting another child, which we've been trying to conceive again for several years, since the birth of our daughter, who is now 4. And we found out that we were pregnant in February. I was really sick. It was like the start of kidding season in March, and we had our first calf born and just had so much going on. And I was very sick in my first trimester, which, they say is a good sign as far as like the high levels of HCG. So I was ill, and that made all the kidding and birth and all those videos, which are coming out right now. I'm in the process of editing, and yes, I did say it's December, and these videos are from March that are going to be coming out, but better late than never as far as sharing what footage I have, and hopefully it gives you guys something to look forward to, because we are starting kidding season in February this year, so really soon. We're like 30 some odd days away from our first kidding. So found out I was pregnant in February, had a tough time going through my first trimester being ill. We found out that our baby had a condition called hydrops, which relates to fluid in multiple areas of the body, 2 or more areas. She had fluid around both of her lungs and in her abdomen as well. Became a very high-risk pregnancy. I had a lot of doctor's appointments. Her condition was very poor. The prognosis was very, very low as far as survival, in the single digits. I wound up going through a series of abdominal surgeries to place shunts in what we found out later, was our daughter Amelia's lungs. And I had a number of health complications, was primarily on bed rest throughout most of the pregnancy, and had 3 abdominal surgeries to try and place shunts, had high amniotic fluid, which is very dangerous. So I had several amnio reductions to reduce that fluid. Was just myself in a really poor physical state this year because of that medically complex, very high risk pregnancy. Ultimately, at 34 weeks, our daughter Amelia was born on September 11th. And she passed away 30 hours. She passed away the next day. So that's why I had a big break from YouTube and told myself I wasn't going to cry, but it's what it is. That's why I had a big break from YouTube. My health has been in a very delicate state for quite some time. Things really just were in like survival mode as far as the farm, and here we are now. We made it through the holidays. Our living daughter Ellie had a wonderful Christmas, and we're just looking forward to the new year to have life be more joyful, and to treasure what we do have, and to just keep moving forward. So just gonna take a minute here, guys. Okay, so I just needed to take a minute, excuse me, to just compose myself. It's a really emotional thing to talk about, and like I said, I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. So there you have it. That's why I was gone. And now I'm just going to recap what did go well this year for us as far as the farm, what are positive changes that we made, good things that happened, and then I'll kind of touch on a few things that happened that were not so great. So here we go. So 2023 March marked the first ever calf we had born at our farm, which was exciting, although he was not the best first calf experience for us. He was born a dummy calf. He didn't have a suck reflex, and I do have a video which I will link down below if you're interested, if you haven't already seen that video, on that experience. It was very traumatic, but lots of learning experiences, lots of opportunities to learn and to grow for myself and for my husband through that process of having this dummy calf. And ultimately, we have a very large, very healthy steer out in our pasture. And yeah, that was great. We had our first calf born, super exciting. We also had our first AI kid born. I did one artificial insemination of one doe last fall, and she miraculously settled on my first attempt. And I do have a video if you're interested about like starting out with AI. It's not a how-to video because I'm very inexperienced. I'm not going to be teaching anybody how to AI, but I do have a video on like how to get started, what you're going to need, what it's going to cost, ballpark. So I'll link that video down below if you're interested as well. So we had our first ever AI kid born, and not only did we have a conception happen from AI, but we had a doe kid born, which was so exciting. And obviously we retained her. She is a granddaughter of Grand Champion Wolfie Van CQ Ginger Root, who was first place 2-year-old at nationals, and is just an amazing doe and everything I aspire my does to look like. So we did have Envy is her name, Fable Hill JD Angel's Envy born this year, and that was really exciting. We also brought in a doe kid this year, and it was my first time ever flying in a goat from another farm. And we flew her all the way from California, and her genetics are pretty much everything that moving forward and utilizing AI more in the future, her genetics are the genetics that I want to work with. So bringing her in was a really big step forward in my breeding program. So this here is Miss Cider, Amore's Farm K Cider Donut, all the way from California. A West Coast goat in a coat, because the temperature, the climate's a lot different here. Stress can really be hard on young goats, so I've got a sweater on her, and I also will give her the heat lamp at least at night for a few days, just see how the weather warms up. It's been a little bit colder, and that will just help her with the stress and everything. So she has her hay that she came with a bag of hay. It looks like a higher percentage alfalfa, and I just mixed it in layers with some of my hay, so that way she's not just gorging herself on hay from us all at once. She's got a few babies that came to see her. I'm sure that being in a barn, seeing other goats is comforting to her. She took a bottle in the trunk of the car in her crate in the Starbucks parking lot after the airport, and she didn't really cry very much, a few times in the car on the 3.5-hour drive home, but she's looking good. I think she is happy to be out of that crate and to see some other goats, and now to become best friends. She is related to Envy, the AI kid we had born. She's from Amore's Farm in California. They're wonderful people to work with, and she's been a super healthy, really, really friendly. Oh my gosh, all my girls, my little golden beauty. I mean, she is a heart goat for me. I can't imagine ever parting with her because she's just so special to me emotionally, just so sweet. And that was a big deal for us to bring in this, you know, fancy doe kid from the West Coast. We also did linear appraisal this year and had our first score of 90, which is a big deal. It's not a doe that I bred myself. I can't take credit for that. She was bred by my friend Stacy at Hundaholes. I don't have any does of my own breeding that are older than, I'll be 2 years old. So I don't expect to have, you know, does I'm breeding at this stage in my breeding program to score super, super high, though I think I'm breeding some really nice does. Wendy did score 90, and that was very exciting. Wendy's girls are outside for the first time and meeting the herd. Wendy is a helicopter mom, and she is biting ears left and right. So if anybody even looks at one of her babies, she's putting the hammer down. And then also her daughter, Claire, who is a kid that I had born this year. Claire's birth video, actually, well, Claire's after birth video is going to be out either before or after this video. So if it's not already out, it'll be the next one posted. Claire won Best in Show as a junior doe, and that is my second Best in Show win on a homebred doe, and that's just a huge honor. And she showed under Judge Garrett Morse, who is from a dairy cow background, and she stood in the lineup for Best in Show against a number of really big standard breeders with really beautiful animals, very competitive animals. Oh, Claire. And when he picked her for Best in Show, he said that she excelled in every area of the scorecard. And that was just such a huge compliment to me as a breeder and made me feel really good. You guys might have heard the heater is kicking on right now. So yeah, hopefully that's not gonna be too loud. It's kind of loud, we'll see. I think it's gonna cool down in a minute. So on that note, we also, as I mentioned in the beginning, finished insulating our milk room this year, which is a huge deal, and it's going to be a game changer for everything to do with winter chores, with milking, with kidding season, just everything. It's so great having all my meds out here now because this room is thermostatically controlled. We installed the heater in here, which is on a thermostat and can be adjusted, and this is a propane heater. Hopefully going to be very efficient for us, but just a big deal. And I know any of you that have dairy goats, most of you probably are dreaming of a day when you can have things like hot water or heat in your milk room, and it's life-changing, trust me. We also built out our trailer this year. Last year we bought a 2-horse trailer with the intention of converting it to like a goat trailer, to where it would be just easier to transport goats. We have Nigerians, which are a miniature dairy breed, and they're small, and there's a lot that you can do with customizing a trailer when you have goats. This isn't like our end-all be-all dream trailer by any means, because I obviously want a bigger trailer so I can bring more goats, and I'd love a trailer with like living quarters so that we can all go as a family to shows, but that's not in the budget anytime soon.
Here it is, the final trailer built. Got a pen here for box or dry stock, pen up top for kids, a gate put on here so that they don't all run out. Depending on how many I have in here, I can put a couple of milkers in here, no problem. Lexi, what about you? And then this is my tack area. There's another gate here, which actually is gonna probably come off. I don't need it now. I had it before because I had to transport some kids in here, but now that I have these other pens built, I shouldn't need this gate for right now, so we'll take that off. Tack area, got some storage to monkey with here, clothes rack. And then this is a storage area that flips down up top. And then, Lexi, on the side here, got Sunny 8-foot cattle panel sections on a rack so that I can put up some pens if need be.
So my father-in-law did the build out on that trailer, and it's just so cool to have it set up the way that I have it, and it really is a game changer. Also just I guess it was over the summer, I think, built a pen, which was initially a pen for Uhtred, our livestock guardian dog, and has been converted into a buck pen since then. And that is in an area near our cows and right next to our doe pen. So it has a lot of different uses potentially, whether it becomes a kid pen at some point or like a buck kid pen, or really anything that you need to put in there. It's just a really handy pen. And I think this next year we're going to put a gate in on the other side so that you can access from both sides, because right now you have to go through the cow pasture, which is very annoying. But we have this other pen. And then also, just like a month or less ago, my father-in-law built a shelter for it and allows the bucks to be able to be in there to get out of, you know, snow, wind, ice, rain, all those things, and to have their hay. And it's just a really nice little shelter for them. They, you know, their minerals stay dry. So They've always wintered in our far pasture, which has a shed and has a little house for them. But this area is just so much better as far as doing winter chores, because I don't have to go all the way out to that far pasture. I don't have to trek down this hill and fall on the ice and yada yada. So it's just a million times easier and more functional for chores, particularly through the winter, to have that new pen and to have that buck house. So that's been amazing. We changed how we fed our kids, and we also put in a new kid pen in the one side of our dough barn. And that made a huge difference because I had this other space for kids. And when you have goats, like having more stalls, more pens, areas to separate different age groups, or buck kids or whatever, like having more pens is better than having less pens. And having that bigger kid pen really made a difference this year in kid management. And then my husband built me a bottle rack this year, which was amazing. Puppy dog tails. And it really made it so much easier to feed all those kids, because we had more kids born this year than any other years previously. Next year, 2024, we're expecting even more kids. This is Wendy, and she's definitely pregnant. Oh, that little baby. That better not be a single Wendy. Just those kinds of things, I mean, can be such a game changer when you raise dairy goats and you're trying not to like lose all your sanity, and also not spend a million years out doing chores. This was the first year that I ever vaccinated for pneumonia. Now, we live in Michigan and we get a lot of fluctuating temperatures. We get a lot of wet and then a lot of like cold and heat and cold and heat and rain. And it is just like the perfect storm environmentally as far as creating conditions which would make animals prone to respiratory illnesses such as pneumonia. Pneumonia can be caused in goats by either bacteria or viruses. And every year previously, I have had at least one case of pneumonia, and I've only ever had one animal, which was my doe Sidar, who went best in show as a kid last year. She had pneumonia as a kid and almost died. And after that experience, and to keep seeing pneumonia year after year in some of my animals, it really made me not want to deal with pneumonia ever again. And so I did my research, I talked to my vet. I wound up going with an intranasal vaccine, which covers both viral and bacterial pneumonia strains. It is made for cattle, so definitely do your own research, talk to your vet. There's really not anything that's made for goats as far as that is concerned, but I did do that intranasal vaccine this year before show season. And while I have seen some respiratory, funks, like, cold, whatever, all animals, especially if you take them to shows at some point, are going to wind up with some type of, respiratory illness, goats in particular. But I didn't have anyone get pneumonia. I did not have one case of pneumonia this year. I'm so happy about that, and I will certainly be continuing to use that pneumonia vaccine. We also got 2 new barn kittens this year. Kitty, kitty. Gus. Hi, Gus. And last year we lost our barn cats, Dobby and Jinx, who are siblings. We still have our 2 older barn cats who are siblings, Dex and Archie, that were here when we bought the property. But we really wanted to think about getting some more barn cats because we want to try our best to keep down on the mice population. Another exciting new addition to our family, really, not so much the farm, but we did get a new puppy this year. His name is Scout. He's an Australian Shepherd puppy. He is AKC registerable, but he will be just, hopefully a lifelong family companion. And he's been a great dog. He is a puppy, of course, but He has been just a really wonderful, very calm, very gentle puppy overall. He's been doing great with the farm, with, you know, being around animals. And we really love how our daughter is so excited about him, and how our older dog Amara, who's half border collie, half lab, has really come back to life since bringing Scout into our family. And Amara and Scout are just inseparable, best of buds.
Scout! Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's a good boy. Bugsy.
We did get Scout after our daughter Amelia passed away this year, and it really, really was healing for our family, and continues to be healing to have a puppy to love. We also got 3 new does this fall. One of them I bred and sold and got her back, along with 2 herd mates who are litter mate sisters.
They've got their grain, just a little grain with some minerals to help them settle in, help their immune system. Chaff hay, and then hay. They've got water and hot molasses water with blue light in it, and apple cider vinegar.
Now on to the things that didn't go so well or were unfortunate happenings this year. This year was really defined by loss for us, and obviously losing our daughter is like not comparable to the loss of anything else I'm going to talk about, but for whatever reason this year was like really that kind of a year for us. First, in the beginning of the year, we had to put down our old dog Savvy, or Savage was her full name. Savvy was a pit bull that I had for really an American bully, but most people don't know what that is. Pit bull type dog. She was a rescue that I had for a really, really long time. She was with, you know, me long before my husband and I started dating, and she made many moves with me throughout the country. She was just a really special dog.
Who's that guy over there, Rue? Who is that? Who is that guy? Go see, Rue. Go see that guy. You gonna go see who is that?
And so many people that had previously had a stigma or a fear of pit bulls said that Savage changed their, you know, their opinion on that, because she was just the gentlest, sweetest, goofiest dog. She was our house hippo, and we miss her dearly. We did put her down because of her advanced age, and she had cancer that was getting pretty aggressive symptomatically for her. They say when you have livestock, you're going to have dead stock at some point. And we had never, until this experience, lost a goat. And that means through kidding. We've never had a kid that was stillborn or died after birth. Like, we've never lost a goat. And this year we lost our first goat. We lost my buck Detour, who was from See You at Little Red Barn. He was a very expensive kid. He was my most expensive goat still to this day. And I came out in the buck pen one day and I found him on his back, legs all up in the air, stiff and bloated. I did talk to my vet. A necropsy didn't really seem like the best idea, only because I didn't know how long he had been there. It might have been a couple of days. You know, the bucks had hay and water. None of them were showing any signs of illness. So the assumption was silent pneumonia. It is what it is. It was really hard to lose Detour because he was a very valuable animal to me, but he was also my first bottle baby, and he was still sweet even though he was a big stinky buck. And I only had a handful of daughters out of him. I really didn't get to utilize him as much as I hoped, anywhere near as much as I'd hoped. So losing him was a big blow to me financially and also emotionally, because he was a bottle baby and he was just sweet. And I'm an animal lover, so losing any animal is really hard for me. But yeah, that really sucked. We also totally failed on having a garden this year. Like, with everything going on with my health and with the pregnancy, we didn't have a garden, like, whatsoever. And that sucked. And that was a big fail. But I just had to accept that I couldn't do rock garden this year. I'm really hopeful to have a nice garden, small, manageable in 2024. We did not get our cow pomegranate rebred. We don't own a bull. We don't plan on owning a bull on this small of acreage. And while I had hoped to get her AI'd, I didn't have a way to do that. I didn't have a stand to be able to get her in a stanchion to have her AI'd, and it just did not work out. My father-in-law did build like a chute for like AI, or for needing to, you know, if you need to medicate or, you know, treat an animal, a cow. He just built one really recently, like in the last month. And hopefully she is going to get AI'd. If she doesn't, she will have to be sold, because we can't just have her as a pet. And she's far too sweet and beautiful of a cow to turn her into beef. So she is definitely a breeding quality animal. She has an amazing temperament to be like a small farm or homestead brood cow to produce beef calves. And if she doesn't get bred, she will be sold. But she has not yet been rebred, and her calf was born in March. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. To all my subscribers that have stayed with me throughout the years, thank you so much for sticking with me and for being supportive and encouraging and sending, you know, messages and comments from all over the world. It means a lot. To my new subscribers, hopefully some new ones that clicked subscribe and like on this video, thank you guys for coming along for the journey, and I look forward to sharing lots of goat and farm related content with you guys in the new year in 2024. So thank you guys for watching. Have a very happy new year. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.